Hey, welcome back to S Academy by Sachin Adi, Simple Tech Education.
Hi, welcome back. Today we'll understand the fourth program in React Lab. Here in the fourth program, they have told us to create a to-do list application where I'll be entering the task which I want to complete. I'm entering the task get up early. So this is one task and I have to click on add to add the task. Now I will click on another task, my milk. This is the second task. Now I'll add the third task also. Now this is the third task. And if I click on complete, a line through will appear on the whole text. Now, if I want to undo it, just click on undo. The line through goes off. Now, if I have totally completed the task, I will be clicking on the delete button so that it deletes the task. So, this is our fourth program. Now, let us start the explanation. First, go to VS Code editor, click on terminal, new terminal. Now, go to the folder where you want to create your folder app. I am going to desktop, and in that I have a folder with USN. Now npx create dash react dash app, and I will be creating a folder with name p. After opening the terminal, type the command npm start. This will start your server. So this is your output of the program. Just enter. Press on add button. Now a new task will be added. If you want to add another task, type another task. Again it has added. Now if you want to delete any task, or if you want to set the status of the task as complete, if you click on complete, it will show a line through all the text. If you delete it, it will go from the list. Now let us understand how this app works. The first line, that is import React useState from React, tells us import is used to bring things from another file or library. React, it is the library used to build user interfaces, and useState is a React hook used to store and update data in the component. Here we are using useState as a memory box that remembers the values. Here the values are nothing but the task which we type. And in the next line, we are importing the CSS file into our application. So without the CSS, the page would work, but it looks very plain. Function ToDoFunction creates a React functional component. A component is like a small building block of a web page. This component will handle adding the tasks, displaying the tasks, deleting the task, and also marking task complete. In the next two lines, we are creating the state variables, just like we have created in the previous third program. This line creates a state variable known as tasks, which stores the list of tasks. Next comes set a task. This function is used to update the task list. Next comes the useState hook. Means the list starts with empty. Now in this line, another state variable is created with new task. So here, whatever the user types in the input box is stored. In this line, we are creating an add task arrow function which runs when the add button is clicked. It will add a new task to the list. Here we are using the trim function to remove extra spaces from the input type. If user types nothing, the function stops. Here we are creating a task object that stores details about the task. First, the detail of the task is date, which gives the current time in milliseconds. It is used as a unique ID for every task. This helps React to identify the task. Next, new task stores that actual task which the user typed in the input box. Now, the third value in the task object is set to false, which means the task which we have created newly will be by default set to false, and after completion of the task we can change the value to true. So if we create a new task, these three details will be attached with that task. Now you can see the final object, how it looks like. In this line, we are adding the task object to the existing list. We are taking the details from the task object which we have created here and copying it to the existing task list. Copy the old task and add it to the new one. After adding the list or updating the list, we are setting the new task with no values or empty string. That is, the input is by default erased and set to empty string. After adding the task, the input box becomes empty. So in this line, we are clearing the input box. Next, we have delete task arrow function. So this is executed when we click on the delete button. This function deletes the task from the list. It receives task ID as input. As we know, each and every task has its own unique ID which we have created with date.new function. So here the filter function removes the task with its matching ID. After deleting, this line updates the task list with the new filtered list. The React then updates the screen automatically. That means it re-renders. The delete function completely removes the task from the list. But as we seen in the output, if we click on the button completed, a line through appears. This can be achieved by toggle complete function. Now, this function changes the task status from pending to completed or from completed to pending. We have seen earlier when we are creating an object, we have added three details. One is ID, one is the details of the task, and the third one is the completed. So by default, we are setting it to false. And if we toggle it from false, it is converted to true. So true means the task has been completed. When it is set to true, a line through appears. And if we make it as false, by clicking again on undo button, a line through disappears and the task is set to false. And after changing the status, here we are updating the list again with this function. So the meaning of toggle is from one state to another and another state to another. So switching over is known as toggle. So we are switching from completed to pending and from pending to completed. So this map function goes through every task in the list and checks whether it is completed or it is pending. And if the task ID matches, then it flips the value from false to true and from true to false. Now comes the return. This tells React what should appear on the screen. Now you can see the JSS which we have written just looks very much similar to HTML. Here is the JSX means we are writing the HTML inside the Java script. And next we have the main container. This creates a main box for the application and the styling comes from app.css. And next we will be giving the title as to-do list application, which we have written inside the h2 tag. This displays the title of the app. Now comes the class name input container. This groups the input tag and the add button, which is located side by side inside the div tag with the class name input container. Now in the input tag we have the placeholder enter a new task. It gives the hint what should be typed. Next comes value equals to new task. So whenever the user types the task, it is connected to the state. Next comes the onChange function. This runs when the user starts typing. So example, if the user is typing buy milk, it is stored in the new task. Now if I click on add button, the task which I have typed in the input will be added to the task list. Here we have wrote on click equals to add task. Here the add task is the arrow function. On clicking on the add button, add task arrow function will be executed. Now comes the class name task list. This contains or holds all the tasks. Next we have map function. React loops through all the tasks and displays them. Each task is displayed using list element. Here key refers to the task ID and completed refers to true if each task is displayed using list element. Key helps React to keep track of each task, and here if completed is true, a new styling occurs. That means initially the class name will be set to task-item. Now if we see in app.css, here we have a class name with .task-item. Here we have told how each list must appear. If the task is not completed, the class name is task-item. That means the line through will not be applied. If the class name becomes task-item dot completed, that means if the item or the task is completed, then this whole styling is applied, and then again another styling, that is text decoration, is also applied. It is applied only when the task is completed. So if the task is not completed, that means completed is not true, that is false, the class name will be task-item. If the completed is true, then the class name becomes task-item dot completed. So you can see the two stylings here. Next we have the class name task-text. This displays the task text, and by clicking on it, it toggles the completion. Here we have written on click toggle complete. Now beside the task test, we have two buttons, that is complete button and delete button. If we click on complete button, that is on click, the toggle complete arrow function will be executed and the complete button is turned into the undo button. Again, if we click on undo button, again it switches back to complete button. So as I told previously, the toggle complete arrow function will be executed. That is, it will be switched between the task pending or complete, or from complete to pending. Now comes the delete function. If we click on the delete button, the delete task function arrow function will be executed and the whole task will be removed from the task list. And at the end we have export default to do function. This allows other files to use this component also. Now here we have app.css. Now as you've seen the output, the whole body will be displayed in some green pista color. So next contains the container where actually our output will be displayed. So here the background of the container will be white, and next comes the h2 tag. Next we have the input container and the input type. Next we are setting how the add button is being displayed. Now the background color of the add button will be blue in color, and when I point it over on it, the cursor turns it to the pointer. Next comes task-item and task-list, and also task-item.completed. Here I am giving the styling how the task must be displayed. If the task is completed, now you can see here I have done the text decoration, that is line through. Now on the text, a line appears in the center, indicating that the task will be completed. Next comes the complete button and the delete button. The complete button, I'm setting the background color as green, and for the delete button I'm setting the color as red. So this is about the fourth program, that is ToDo application. Hope you have understood it, and if you have any queries, please put it on the comment section. Thank you.